What's up, Buffalo Bill fans? Here to do a pre-season finale video. It just seems like yesterday they were playing New England in the opener. Now here they are playing them in the finale. Sans EJ Manuel, which is going to be the topic du jour, not only going into the game, going out of the game, but this whole off season. It's going to be the quarterback. It's just the way of the NFL. I also do the it's all about the quarterback videos, and there you have it. It definitely is all about the quarterback, especially you have a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 14 straight years. You can throw all the other stuff out if you have a dynamic quarterback, an upper echelon quarterback. It solves a lot of those problems, but you know, situations didn't have that in mind for the Bills this year, and 6-9 at the moment, possibly 7-9, having a winning record in the division, first winning in New England, I think overall would be a huge positive. Everybody will want to, certain people will want to make it about, oh, Thad Lewis did it. It wasn't a collective team effort. It was Thad Lewis, not EJ, and people want to throw that out there as a hot stove issue. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's going to take a collective effort from the coaches, from the players to win that game because New England has a lot to play for in terms of seeding and a home field advantage. So it's not like it's going to be a throwaway game for them. They don't throw games away anyway. They play every game to win. So for the Bills, I think as a whole, it's an important game. And but again, EJ will be the topic of debate from now. He has been, and all the way until the first snap of the 14 season on offense. He's going to be the topic. Whether he played 8 games or 16 games, I think how he develops this offseason and how he acclimates to NFL life and gets more comfortable in the offense as a leader of this team, leader of the offense, and getting on the same page with his receivers, getting just more comfortable in general. Because if you look at it, I don't think us as fans can appreciate all that they go through in terms of getting drafted, going through all those workouts and going through all those interviews and what have you. Then for a good portion of the year, from the start of the year all the way up almost until May, now it is until May, you don't know where you're going to be living. You don't know who you're going to be playing for. You kind of try to have an idea, but you don't exactly know. And it's a whirlwind. And I think a lot of times it's just a matter of just getting comfortable and just getting relaxed. And of course, there has to be a good talent base there too and a good foundation. And I think all that had happened this offseason with new coaching staff, new organizational philosophy, new front office, basically a whole new team, a whole new Bills. I mean, they'll sit there and say they didn't think it was rebuilding. This was rebuilding to the fullest, in my opinion. You got a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, all new coordinators, a new GM. I don't think it gets much more rebuilding than that. And here we are. And I think there's been a lot of positives. I mean, they had a couple of dud games, Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay being those. I mean, they played hard in New Orleans, but it's hard to win in that dome. A completely different team on the road, but in that dome, they're kind of a juggernaut. And I think there's been positives to build on. Even with EJ, he's had a couple of rough games, but the games that he's played, I think there's been some real bright spots. And I think the one biggest bright spot that he has going for him is he plays better as the game goes on, and seems to just get better as the game goes on. He has those bigger moments in the fourth quarter, and I think that's important because, as I was talking about with a fellow Bills fan just a little while ago, he had a veteran quarterback prior in Ryan Fitzpatrick who would just wet the bed in the fourth quarter. He played his worst when it mattered. Here you have this rookie who seemed to be playing his best when it mattered. And you look at his wins, now that the season is over, his wins are impressive. You have Carolina, who at the time didn't seem that impressive, but now it looks pretty damn impressive. You have New York Jets, who have a very good defense, who've always fielded a pretty good defense, and he had his best game against them. Baltimore, who's in the playoff mix right now, defending Super Bowl champions, played tough and got back into it. Carolina, who was Jacksonville, who was kind of hot at the time. They were going into that game on a bit of a roll. So there are some positives to build on. It's not all negative. Um, I mean, there's a certain contingent of Bills fans who want to say go draft another quarterback and do this and do that. And if you get the organization and the personnel department thinking like that, that personally I don't think it's going to happen. But if you're listening to the fans and start thinking like the fans, you'll be sitting with the fans. That's what generally happens. That's kind of an old saying. Organizations who start listening to the fans, listen to the media, they end up sitting with them. And you can't, you gotta stay the course. You just gotta, however you decided you were gonna start to build this with EJ, you have to just go forward with it. And I think the area of attack this offseason is gonna be the offense. I think that's the area that they're gonna go forward and try to improve upon at the perimeter, skill position players on the offensive line. And I've played these little clips for you from Chris Brown on Bill's Roundtable, whether he's on the John Murphy show, and he's given you pretty good insight from a guy who's there on a regular basis that they're looking to upgrade, and everything's on the table. I don't think there's any position that won't be looked at or untouched. I mean, certain fans have certain affinities to certain players, but I don't think I'd get too attached if I were you. I mean, there's certain guys that they've tried to, I didn't say this replace, but they've tried to improve upon. I mean, forget, they just basically cut their left guard. Like Colin Brown had started for them. Granted, he was the worst player on the line, but they just cut him. They didn't bench him, they cut him. And did it very swiftly. All they needed to see was one game from Doug Legursky, and they gone. So imagine what they're going to do when they have a full blotter of players to pick from in terms of free agency, players being released from other teams in full bore, draft, undrafted free agency. I can only imagine what this offseason is going to bring, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see E.J. Manuel develop, finally settle down. He knows where he's living now, and he can just basically focus on being a better quarterback, not focus on running a better 40 or interviewing a certain kind of way or talking to the media so much and all these little interviews that they have to do pre-draft, post-draft, and what have you. You just focus on being a better quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, getting more embedded in the offense, developing a better rapport with his teammates, and just basically relaxing a little bit, just calming down and getting acclimated to NFL life, because it's a huge. I think it's a huge thing. Imagine us, for the guys out there who are a little older, being 23, just being thrust into that. That's a huge jump. I think it's a huge jump. I think it's a huge jump from college to the NFL and all the demands, the weight of an organization, guys, teams, jobs, depending on your success, particularly as a quarterback. A lot of everybody's, success and as a career-wise, whether they're coordinators, coaches, head coaches, and GMs, scouts, it's on you. So I think we kind of forget about that sometimes and just kind of gloss over that and just think of it as simple as the guy taking the snap, going back and throwing the ball. And when a guy gets good, it is simple as that. Do we think about who Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator is or Tom Brady's? No, they're kind of their own offensive coordinators. And when you have a really, really good quarterback, you don't have to think about those things. But anyway, Bills fans, obviously like I've said, the topic of from now until the off season, until the start of the season will be EJ. But going forward, how they're going to reconstruct this team even more so is going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be one that is definitely worth watching if you're a Bills fan. So until then, you guys have a good one. Take care. Let me know what you think of the new little background I did. It's a banner. People that have a little bit more knowledge than me doing some podcasts and videos and stuff kind of gave me some advice, and I heeded it. And let me know what you think. Until then, you guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the holiday week, New Year's, and take care.